If you want to take the island, you have to burn all the boats. And that is the quote of the day. Welcome back to the Quote of the Day show. I'm your host, Sean Croxton of SeanCroxton.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's featured quote is by J.J. Virgin, author of The Virgin Diet. J.J. is one of the leading experts in all of the health space, but today she's talking less about health and more about why we need to do the things that scare us. Why the only way that we're going to get over our fears is by walking right up to them, doing the things that make us quake in our boots, doing the things that get us out of our comfort zones. That's the way to do it. And a couple of weeks ago, JJ sent me the link to about a 90-minute talk that she gave at the Growth Summit. And it was an amazing talk. And again, it wasn't a lot about health. Like a little bit of it was about health, but it was really about something that JJ went through a couple years ago and is still going through now. And it was interesting because I got to watch it all unfold through social media and through email while it was going on. And what happened was, I want to say it was a couple of days before her book launch for The Virgin Diet. And her son was crossing the street and was hit by a car. And it was a hit and run. And I believe he severed his aorta, had a traumatic brain injury. The doctors didn't think he was going to make it through the night. And to see JJ, go through that, to be with her son, to be there for her family, and to still decide to go through with the book launch was one of the most incredible things that I've ever seen. And very inspiring. And the story, it just really shows you how, when life throws you a curveball that you think you can't handle, you can handle it. And when you handle it, you grow in a way that you've never grown before. You get to find out how strong you really are. And so JJ's got a book coming out in February all about this. It's called The Miracle Mindset, A Mom, Her Son, and Life's Toughest Lessons. And she's got a documentary coming out with that book as well called You Are Stronger Than You Think. So check that out, coming up next year. And without further ado, here's JJ.
One of the biggest challenges I see out in the world is that even if we're not where we want to be, we're comfortable being there. When this happened, success wasn't optional. If you want to take the island, you have to burn all the boats. Think about me where I was. I couldn't let the Virgin Diet fail, then I wouldn't be able to take care of my son. I couldn't leave my son because he would have died. I had to do all of it. Success wasn't optional. I coach a lot of people, both in health and in business, and so often I hear from them, I'll try that. Especially in weight loss, when someone tells me they're going to try, what does that mean? They ain't doing nothing. Nothing. They're eating the cookies. That's it. That's it. Yoda is my favorite philosopher. You just don't try, you just do. What if, the challenge I see is that people get just good is good enough. You get comfortable, and to get to the next level, it's going to require some pain. You're going to have to do things you don't know how to do. You might look a little foolish. It's scary. Why don't we reframe fear? What if fear was the best thing? What if that was really your litmus test as to whether or not you were going for it big enough? I hear so many people go, no, I can't do that. That scares me. I'm like, no, that's great. Because if it doesn't scare you, you're just not playing big enough, right? I hear people, you can clap for that one. You can totally clap for that. I hear people tell me all the time, I'm afraid to do that. I go, I'm afraid if I'm not afraid. I started doing a lot more TV, and I realized one day I was going on to do the Today Show, and I was not remotely nervous. And I thought, I gotta push bigger. This is if this no longer scares me, if I don't have any charge here, I've got to go push to the next level. I wasn't going to do this talk here today. I was going to do another talk. And last week, Dean emailed me and goes, if you want to do something else, this is actually kind of a funny story. If you want to do something else, you can. And I go, what? Is my talk not good enough? You didn't like the talk? You don't want to do the talk? He's like, oh God, why'd I say anything? But I thought, well, I actually do have a different talk, but like I knew that I needed to start doing this because I've got this book and documentary, but I didn't really want to, right? I was kind of hoping as I wrote this book and did the documentary, that would help me get through this, but it actually is not. It's like every time I do it, I smell it, I hear it, everything. So I'm working on this talk, and I was working on this talk this morning, and I had to talk myself into it. Now, granted, I got some ADD too, so I was like, woo, I'll go over here. But I had to sit there and just, because I have to feel it. And it's like, out of my comfort zone. Plus, it's much easier to show up as JJ Virgin nutrition and fitness expert. Safe. Right? This is not safe. This is vulnerable. I'm telling you stuff that I've really actually never shared before, and it's scary. But that's how you change the world. You start with yourself, and you go out there and you be more vulnerable. You let people in. And I truly believe, and people have said to me, they've looked at this whole situation, they go, I could never do that. And I go, you would have done the same or more. You just don't know. You haven't been challenged yet. And if you're not feeling challenged, then guess what you need to do? Right? You need to do something that scares you. You need to do something that scares you. I knew I was going to talk about some of this stuff with my mom here, and I haven't talked about some of this stuff with my mom. I didn't know she might be a little mad at me. But I know now, and I think about it, I have a coaching client in my Mindshare, my health entrepreneur coaching program, and said, I wanted to do that, but that was so scary. I'm like, good. I know that if I am not scared by something, that I am not playing big enough, and that we are put here for a reason, and it is not to play small, right? This whole thing, writing this miracle mindset book that I wasn't going to do. My agent actually was sitting with me. My agent went through this whole thing with me, as did Brendan, as did Dr. Amen, as did Alan Christensen. I had all these people around me at the time. And my agent actually almost lost her twins when she was pregnant with them. And she goes, you know what, JJ, I kept hearing everything that you went through and everything you've talked to me about. Because I went through all of this with her. And she goes, it's a book. You have to write it. There are other people like me who need this. You have to do this. And so I've been doing that. I've been doing this documentary. And it's brought up so much of this imposter syndrome. Does anyone have that? I'd never heard about it as a syndrome. I thought it was just me. It's so much of who am I to talk about this? Who am I to be at a personal development, event, speaking with all of these big shots on stage? I'm a nutrition person. Who am I to write this book and go out there and do all of this stuff? And then it's but who are you not to? I've lived it. If it can help one person, I better go do it.
That was most definitely one of the most vulnerable talks I'd ever seen before. And I've seen a lot of talks. I've listened to a lot of talks. And I wish I could play the entire 90 minutes for you. But, the format of this show, we try to keep things pretty short. But if you want to hear more about JJ's story, she's hosting a webinar this Thursday. That's October 13th. Again, Thursday, October 13th. She's going to tell you more about her story. And she's also going to show you how to use your mind to improve your finances, your career, your relationships, your health, your spiritual life. And so get signed up for that at jjvirginwebinar.com, jjvirginwebinar.com. Again, that's Thursday, October 13th. That's it for me. I will see you tomorrow with another quote of the day. We'll see you then. Peace.